When you take off on a deployment in the United States Army, sometimes there is gear that you can bring of your own personal gear. And I've talked a little bit about that in a recent video, but you might want to know maybe some good recommendations, some things that I definitely recommend to bring with you, because I did talk about like if you can bring this, if you can't bring that type of thing. But as far as things that you can bring, what are my recommendations? So I have some things that I want to kind of cover here that I have brought with me on my 2 deployments to Iraq, and you could probably even bring them on like a non-combat deployment too. Some of these would apply for that, but specifically I want to outline some 5 specific things, I guess, that I would recommend picking up on your own to replace some Army issued stuff, or maybe there isn't something that you're currently getting issued in the Army to do the job that this item does. Now, the items that I'm going to talk about in this video, I actually have some links down in the description box down below for like affiliate links for Amazon. It doesn't charge you anything extra. It's just a way for me to make a small little bit off of commission if you do happen to use those links. So maybe check those out. Hell, even if you use those links but find a version of that item by a different brand that you like better, I mean, that even still helps out the channel too, and it doesn't even cost you anything extra. So definitely check those out to check out some of the recommendations that I'm talking about in this video. So we'll get into the very first one though. The first one is knee pads. That's commonly an issued thing you'll get issued in the Army. The Army will issue knee pads and elbow pads, and the ones I usually seen that the Army issues you are kind of bulky, so they're not very breathable. And so, especially like in a hot desert environment like Iraq or anything else like in a desert environment, maybe even going to the National Training Center, right? And some units will be really strict on wanting soldiers to wear the knee pads when they're out on mission. And if you're in that situation, then you want to have something comfortable, probably even something breathable. So I had some really breathable ones. I even probably have a picture of it up on screen with a link down in the description box down below to where you can buy them. But mine were the digital version I had for the ACU pattern type of thing. So you'd want obviously this version that I showed you there of the OCP kind of version. But I've seen some soldiers even wearing these ones. I don't think the Army issues you these ones. If they do, then I guess this is pointless, but I have still seen soldiers wearing the really bulky ones too that are just not very breathable. So I haven't seen what the issued ones look like for the Army. So if they are still issuing those really bulky ones that I've seen some soldiers even wearing occasionally, like on Fort Carson where I'm working at, then I definitely recommend getting some really breathable ones. You don't want something that's just gonna make you sweat more, be more uncomfortable, especially you're out on mission for a long time. You want to be comfortable as best as possible when you're out on mission. You don't want to add any extra, discomfort compared to the discomfort you are going to have anyway. So definitely recommend maybe checking out some good pair of knee pads that are going to be breathable and more comfortable. The second item actually is like an ammo pouch for like you to carry around a magazine, because mainly with like a combat deployment, when you're on the FOB, you don't have to wear full gear, but they obviously have you carrying around your weapon. Your weapon goes with you everywhere on a combat deployment. Even when you're on the FOB, they don't like lock them up or anything. And they usually want you to have at least one magazine of ammo on you just in case something happens, and you at least have that one magazine to be able to have access to. So some people carry it around like in their cargo pockets. There's a small pocket down by like their calf that sometimes people put inside of. But I usually recommend putting it inside of like a little ammo pouch. Sometimes people would just take a regular single ammo pouch kind of a thing that you normally like attaches from the MOLLE system onto your vest, and they would clip it onto like the sling of the weapon. I've seen some versions where it actually attaches to the buttstock of the M4, and that works pretty handy. I think my first deployment, I just had one that kind of like attached to the sling, just not really meant to attach to the sling, but it would work to attach to the sling. And then my second deployment, I actually had one that actually attached to the buttstock, which was a lot more kind of convenient with that version. So the link down in the description box is just, I think, a regular ammo pouch that you can kind of like clip onto the sling. I couldn't find a good one that actually attached to the buttstock. Maybe you'll be able to find one type of thing. Another alternative, like along the same lines for carrying around the ammo pouch, is like this leg drop kind of MOLLE system type of thing. I actually had one of those my second tour. This one may be a little bit trickier because you may have to make sure that it's cool with your leadership for you to wear this type of thing. My leadership was cool with it. They didn't really care. A lot of people were wearing them, and some of the officers had them to attach their sidearm to, because officers usually had like the 9mm or the sidearm. And so I had this leg drop kind of a thing, but I had ammo pouch attached to it to carry around that one ammo pouch when I was on the FOB. When I was off the FOB, I wouldn't wear it. I would just, put my ammo pouches on my vest that I would have to carry my ammo. But with that leg drop one, I also had the MOLLE system, so I could also attach like a Gerber or a knife. And so that was actually pretty convenient for walking around when I was on the FOB. It could even be useful, outside the wire when you're on mission too. I guess it just depends, on if it's comfortable for you to wear type of thing, but it could be a little easier to get, access to magazines or some other type of thing that you want to have, like with a MOLLE system compared to on your vest. But that was pretty cool alternative. So The mag pouches, you know, especially like when you're on the fob, because you have to carry around that one magazine pouch or that one ammo, you know, magazine to just in case type of thing. I recommend that item to have something to be able to carry that around in. Otherwise, you're carrying around in like your pocket or something, and sometimes that's not very comfortable. The third item I actually recommend is like a multi-tool, right? You will actually get issued like I think it's a Leatherman from Supply sometimes in a lot of units. Sometimes it's really just real basic, right? It's just a real basic Leatherman, and that gets the job done, right? Especially if it's something you're just getting issued, you don't have to pay any extra money for. But sometimes you want something with a little bit better quality type of thing, right? You want one from like the brand Gerber, or maybe you have another brand that you like better, right? And so that's a good recommendation. I think my first deployment, I just went with the basic issued one, which was a Leatherman, and it got the job done. It was okay. Second deployment, I don't think I had issued one, so I think I bought one, and I bought like a Gerber one that was really nice and had a lot of accessories attached to it. And it's really handy, like in those kind of environments. I mean, hell, even like just in the Army in general, a lot of times, you know, having one on your belt loop, you know, it's hidden under your uniform, so you can't even actually see it. And it can be handy in a lot of situations, especially depending on your MOS. And I think that's a great item to have. So I definitely would recommend taking one of those. In some cases, maybe depending on how the pouch is, you might be able to put it on your vest. If not, you just put it on your belt loop and you can kind of attach it there, and it's hidden away and people can't actually see it being exposed. Those are great tools for using like the pliers on it, for using the knife, for using, you know, maybe even a little screwdriver attachment. There's a lot of situations you wouldn't even think of that you're like, oh man, I wish I had that knife. Oh man, I wish I had these pliers. And it comes in handy quite often. Before we get into the last two, if you weren't aware, I actually have my own Christopher Chaos challenge coin that's out now. It isn't going to be available to buy. This is specifically, I want something to be where you have to earn it. You have to earn a challenge coin from doing something awesome. And the first one that I'll probably do to make it publicly available to get your hands on is mainly for those of you that are maybe in the Fort Carson area. I'm gonna probably be doing something pretty soon on Instagram, maybe in the Discord, something to be able to give some hints as to where you can find one, because I'm gonna hide one on Fort Carson. So if you're stationed on Fort Carson, make sure you're following me on Instagram, make sure you join the Discord channel, and keep an eye out during the month of February, as I'm gonna have a special way that you can, you know, find one of these challenge coins hidden somewhere on Fort Carson by using maybe a little bit of land navy type of skills. Also down in the description box down below, the company that makes my challenge coins also leave a link down below, so if there's anybody out there that needs a good place to get some challenge coins made, check them out. Now, two more items that I recommend you purchase yourself to upgrade from maybe the military version, or if there isn't a military version, just to simply have, and that is boots. You want to be comfortable. You want to be able to have some sort of comfort. You're going to be on your feet a lot. You're going to be walking a lot, whatever, right? There's a lot of circumstances where you're going to be in those boots, especially on a combat deployment. That's pretty much what you're wearing pretty much like 98% of the time, I feel like, while on a combat deployment, is those boots, and you need something comfortable. The Army issued ones, they're okay, right? They're not the greatest. They get the job done, but there are, I think, other companies that make ones that are a lot more comfortable than the Army issued ones. I actually, like, while I was in Iraq the second time, I bought a pair of Oakley boots, and those worked great. Those are kind of hit or miss. I know some people said they hate Oakley boots, and I've had some people that say they love them. I loved them. They didn't last very long, though. That was the only problem, is they were super comfortable, but I feel like they only lasted about a year before they just kind of started falling apart. But the ones I actually recommend, I'll leave those down in the description box for a link to buy them on Amazon, is Hikes. I've actually worked with them in the past. I wear those boots currently all the time for work. They're super comfortable. I wish I had a pair of these when I was in the Army, because I think they're really great. I've had them now for, going on 2 years maybe now, something like that. And they're great. They still look amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm not, probably beating them up like I would if I was in the field or on a deployment type of thing, but they're holding up great. They're comfortable. They're durable. They're AR 670-1 compliant, so you can wear them in uniform. They're a great pair of boots. You got to be comfortable when you are in the field. Even if it's training, deployment, combat deployment, great boots. So I definitely recommend checking those ones out. Now, the fifth and final one that I'll recommend you pick up, because the Army's version isn't very good, and that is the sling for your M4. Typically, the sling that you're gonna get with your M4 is just a really, really basic one. It's nothing special, it's just a little 2.1. It slips through the ring in the front and slips through the ring on the buttstock, and that's it, right? You can throw it over your shoulder, cool. You can walk around with it. But I prefer to be a little bit more comfortable. I actually had a 3-point harness one, and the 3-point harness one was great. I actually can't find a good one on Amazon, so I can't link it down below. But usually you can find them sometimes like in the PX, or in usually have some kind of other little side stores near the PX, right inside the little area of the PX, and sometimes you can get it from there. I think that's actually where I got mine when I had it for both my first and second deployment. But these types of harnesses, I think, are just way better for those types of slings because you can have it on, you can have the weapon hanging on your side rather than hanging on your back. So it's just a lot easier. Plus it's easier to kind of swing it forward, to kind of have it, at the ready and then let it drop and let it hang compared to using just the simple issued one that the Army gives you. So if you want a little bit more comfort, I even recommend it for the field, right? You're in the field, you're in a training deployment, you're on a actual combat deployment. Great to have a 3-point sling. I think they're way better than just especially the generic Army ones that they just have already attached to the weapon. Go pick up one of those. Like I said, I don't have a good one in the description box down below. I've seen some people like online, they have some pretty good 3-point harness ones. And then usually like the stores, like within the PX usually have that kind of stuff. You can get all sorts of like attachments, or not really attachments, but you can get all sorts of like accessories and different kind of things for MOLLE systems. And a lot of times they will have slings too. Now, question of the day for the video, what is something you would want to bring with you on a deployment? What's something that you would prefer to buy yourself to maybe have that comfort, maybe the better reliability? I don't know, right? I know a lot of people throw around the word military grade when it comes to like the items that are issued to you in the Army, and sometimes they're pretty good and sometimes they're not that good. It really is kind of hit or miss kind of a thing. But I want to know from you guys, what is something that you would like to have of your own rather than what maybe the Army issues you? And then for my veteran viewers out there, what's something maybe of your own that you definitely was a must have, whether it was in the field, whether it was on a deployment, whatever, that, something that replaced the Army's version of it, or if there wasn't an Army version of it, it was a must have because it just made things easier for you. If you have questions about certain military items, can I bring this, can I bring that? Definitely drop those down in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer some. Maybe some of my veteran viewers can help me out, answer some of yours. But also check out that video, right? I have a video on that talking about gear that you can bring, gear you can't bring type of thing to kind of give you a little bit of heads up. Check out the links down in the description box, social media, all those affiliate links. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm Christopher Chaos. I'll see you next time. See ya.